Well, we are back yet again for another episode of Mando the Show, literally written in crayon. And this episode, we're not progressing the story forward. Instead, what we've got for you is a side quest and a bunch of cameos. Wow, just what we always wanted. This episode, we have Jack Black, we have Christopher Lloyd, and for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know whose idea it was, Lizzo. We have a cameo from Lizzo. She's not very good at acting, so it's very awkward. It's very embarrassing. But that's what we've got this episode. Wow! Star Wars is saved, apparently, if you ask some people. But that's what we've got this episode. The previous episode, again, we wasted fucking time then, and what we set up was Moff Gideon's coming back. We're gonna do that in episode 6 because that makes sense. And we're also we're retaking Mandalore. Bo-Katan is gonna do it, and the armorer woman is gonna told Bo-Katan to take her helmet off, even though the armorer woman is right against that. Right, that's very strange. So that's what we've done. We're clearly turning it into the Bo-Katan show. Right, okay. I really, what's funny, you do notice it in this episode that Mando has been reduced to about Grogu's level, where there's not really any importance for him. He has no purpose. He has no reason to be there anymore. It is the Bo-Katan show. That's what we've done, right? Okay, whatever, I guess. So the previous episode, it was, Bo-Katan's going to bring all the Mandalorian factions together. She's going to lead us. And then we come into episode 6, and we start off with, right, we've got to get the Mandalorians back together. And then we go fuck off and do a side quest like we usually do, just in order to waste as much screen time as we can. That's really all there is to it. But let's get into this episode, shall we, and get it out the fucking way. Star Wars. Just go away. Please, just go away if you're not even going to try. So we start out very strangely. It is a very weird episode anyway. But yeah, just at the starting of the episode, I'm already like, right, so what exactly are we doing? We come across this ship, and there's the captain of the ship is in this liquid. Some Imperial ship comes by, so they have a conversation with them. She's now drained. She's got water dripping off her, and all that. Okay. And it's like it's the Mandalorians that left Bo-Katan, and they're hunting someone down. It turns out to be her lover, who's a prince with a fish face, and he talks. I don't really know how to describe how he talks, but the voices don't actually fit the creature that they have. So it just comes across as, right, well, this is just weird. That's all there is to it. But yeah, it's like she's in love with this prince. So the prince comes running along. Oh, you can't make me go with them. What about our love? Does it mean nothing? I don't know what the fuck we're doing in a fucking Star Wars show. What are we doing? Did we need this? Did we? Because it's a scene that could have been completely scrapped. It's got no purpose other than, oh, well, the Mandalorians, the mercenaries going on. All right, we didn't know they did that. So, yeah, it's just very weird. I don't see the point in it. There is no point. It's just, what we want to start off with a bit of weirdness. They kiss and all that. It's very weird. So that's how we start the episode. That's wasted 4 minutes. Okay. That's got 4 minutes out the way. So we've now got Bo-Katan and Mando. They're teamed up. Mando's just there. He's just there now. He's not really doesn't have any importance anymore. We're done with that. So yeah, we find out like yeah they're looking for the other Mandalorians. They've come to a planet in a galaxy, and it's on an entire world. And they go, oh, there's the ships down there. Right, good. You know, they just know that. They just know that in a big galaxy that, oh, they're down there. And it's not, oh, they figured it out off screen. No, they literally just come across them. As you do in a fucking galaxy. That's how that works. But we find out from Bo-Katan that Axe Wolves is their leader now. And I just can't help but think, you know, I thought you needed the Darksaber to lead the Mandalorians. Right, they just didn't want to follow you. You know, I don't know. We're leading into certain territory where we wait about 40 minutes till we get to the Darksaber stuff. And they completely forget the rules of the Darksaber. They somehow think they found a loophole around getting Bo-Katan the Darksaber, and yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's the most boring way you could ever do anything, and I guess they've just forgotten how they've set up the Darksaber, how you go about becoming its owner. They've forgotten about that, but we'll get to that soon enough. We just got to waste 40 minutes. So we will get there at some point. So, you know, Mando's like, I wonder what they're here for now. Bo-Katan says, oh, this planet is not on the Republic registry. I'd guess it's an independent world that hired them for protection. And the way this society operates, the way this world operates, is so backwards. Again, why are the New Republic so stupid? This planet is a part of the you know, what do you call it? The amnesty program. You know, the stuff we spent on episode 3, and every time it's come up, it's just made the New Republic, again, backwards. Stupid. I don't really know how else to put it other than that. But we will get to that soon enough. So yeah, they've just come across this. They didn't have any, like, know-how for why they're here, but they're just here. They found it in a galaxy on an entire planet. There's the ships down there. Don't want to put effort into it, do you? So then they get contacted by this, I believe the planet's called what is it, Plantis? Plaisir 15 or some shit like that. And it takes control of the ship. It's like, nah, you can't go. We can't let you just go straight to the Mandalorians, talk to them, go, we're going to retake Mandalore. Are you in? We can't do that. So what we got to have happen is this stupid society has to go, no, you can't go and do that now. We're going to drag your ship over to our little weird city. And then we're going to give you a side quest. Because that's what we do in this show. And for some reason, people don't click on it. You know, I don't know why. You know, again, you'd be better off just playing a game than watching this show. So they land, they're greeted by these droids and stuff. So yeah, Plaisir 15. They've got to get in this car, and that's going to take them into the dome to go and speak to, I don't know, the people that are in charge that are royals and also elected leaders. So that's where they're going to go. So they drive there. Again, we can't just go straight and do the task that we're currently doing. Again, what they set up, especially with this side quest, it's like you've got literally no reason to help these people. There's no reason whatsoever. But apparently, it's just no. You got to do this if you wanna go and see the Mandalorians. That's how they set it all up. It's just, oh no, you've got to. We're not gonna let you go there for reasons. We want you to do this side quest for us that you don't have to agree to, and you're gonna do it anyway because I don't know. We've got to waste some screen time. So that's where they're going. They go into this. There's people having dinner. You know, again, we might as well just go back to Boba Fett with the stupid little mopeds. When you're adding this stuff in, they're having some sort of some sort of feast. So there's Jack Black, there's Lizzo for reasons. You know, I don't know. I don't know what audience they're catering to. Are you trying to get 7-year-old girls to watch it? You know, I don't know. I'm just baffled that you've went, oh, a cameo that everyone would be hyped for is Lizzo. This is honestly worse than in She-Hulk when they had a cameo from Megan Thee Stallion. It's like, what are you doing? It's just embarrassing that you're going, oh, we get some singer, right, that 7-year-old girls listen to, and that will somehow, I don't know, create buzz. I really don't know. It's the weirdest choice to go, oh, we get a cameo from someone who isn't an actor and they can't fucking act. So that's definitely a recipe for success. But, you know, some people love cameos, don't they? They just go cameos. That means everything's good about the show. So, yeah, it's Jack Black. He's an ex-Imperial person. Let me see what they... So, yeah, in this society, you know, it's stuff to do with the New Republic. And because he previously worked for, like, as an Imperial, on this planet, because it's part of the amnesty program, they are not allowed... They're not allowed a military. Right, but right, you know, you kind of see, right, so you have a planet here. What if people attack? Again, this is still an independent place, you know, somehow independent, yet also is in an amnesty program. And they don't have a military. It's like, well, what if people attack? Again, a lot of this stuff just doesn't add up. But again, it's like, oh, well, we have to have it this way because we need some sort of reason there for them to go, oh, we want your, you know, Bo-Katan and Mando's help. So part of me is like, oh, so that's the reason you've made the New Republic dumb just because we need to waste some time doing a side quest. And it turns out, so yeah, you got Lizzo there, can't act for shit. So I'm just like, why? I don't get it. You know, if you're gonna get a cameo from, you know, some sort of celebrity, at least make sure they can act first. Maybe do that, not just go, you've never done acting before, Lizzo. Do you want to be in a Star Wars episode? You know, whatever, John. Whatever you're into, John. I guess you're a big fan of Lizzo. So, yeah, they're like, Plaisir suffered greatly under Imperial rule. So, you know, it's this guy, Jack Black, that rebuilt it from the ground up. She just delivers lines in a very horrible way. And it turns out that what they're dealing with on this planet, you know, Grogu jumps out his little baby pram into a hand, you know, he does his little fucking jump thing. Where they just fling a puppet into the air. So they take them off to the side. And they start telling them, right, we got a big problem. That there's droids malfunctioning because they have droids that have been, you know, decommissioned and their sort of programming is now peaceful. And there's been some droids that have been malfunctioning. They think it's coordinated malfunctioning that someone's doing it. And yeah, they don't have a military or nothing like that. They can't get the Mandalorians outside the dome to help because of part of the amnesty program, like they can't have a standing army come into their dome. So that's the reason why we can't just go outside and get them. Well, you know, how about you just don't bring all of them in? So what you could do is go out there and go, you know, we couldn't have a couple of you, a couple of Mandalorians, get you to sort this job out for us. You know, because if you've just got, you know, 2 people, like we have with Bo-Katan and Mando, then they are not an army, are they? So, yeah, you don't actually need Bo-Katan or Mando for this. You could have just done that. But no, oh no, we can't have a standing army because we've imposed on ourselves that you must have, like, all of them come in. Whatever. So, that's kind of what they're dealing with. And yeah, you may be questioning, right, so there's droids malfunctioning that they used to be battle droids. They are malfunctioning in your society. As they put it, they have assaulted people and just, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff, just fucking shit up. And they haven't once thought, well, maybe we better turn them all off to sort out this problem. We're given an answer to that, and I'm not satisfied that you just go, oh, they're assaulting people, but we're not. What can we do? What can we do? We're just going to have to stay here and wait till 2 Mandalorians happen across us. That's what we're going to do in order to solve a problem where droids are attacking people. That's what we're going to do. And again, the reason for it, I really, the reason for it doesn't make no fucking sense whatsoever. But we get to that when we get to the Christopher Lloyd cameo, because it's the cameo episode. So that's what they're told. Yeah, they're like, you know, Bo-Katan says, what does this have to do with us? She can't figure out that they're asking them to do a job. You know, okay, you're about as clownish as Mando is. And yeah, they say like, they have like constables that can't carry blasters. And I'm just like, so why are the New Republic this dumb? It's like, even if you had people in the amnesty program, again, they don't want this society to have an army, yet they have an army of fucking droids. So that doesn't make it, they've completely glossed over that. But they're just like, oh no, we're not going to have them equipped for things that could happen. The previous episode, space pirates, you know, bombarded Navarro. What if that happens here? Because it happens anywhere. It can happen anywhere, and you have these people have no weapons at all. They have no army, except an army of droids that they could reprogram and turn on the New Republic. The New Republic haven't considered that. They haven't considered that at all. Just, honestly, nothing in this show makes any sense. A lot of this stuff, you know, you just start to come across it as you're going through it. Just, there's so many different, you know, just parts that make no sense. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, they've got no weapons, they got no army, except an army of droids. New Republic forgot about that one. Let me see. So yeah, we find out, you know, the Mandalorians outside can't enter because our charter forbids a standing army from entering the city. You could just get 2 or 3 of them. You could have just done that, but instead you waited for 2 Mandalorians just to come across your planet. But yeah, essentially the reason why they've imposed that on the script is just because, well, we need a reason for Mando and that to help. That's all it is. That's the only reason why any of this is happening, and they've done it in the stupidest way possible. It's like, well, maybe don't have the Mandalorians outside the dome, because you could just have a couple of them come in, fix your problem. You don't need the whole army of them to come in to fix this problem. But yeah, they're not allowed blasters or anything. That makes total sense. Well done, New Republic. You're so smart. So smart. So then they say, you know, we'll give you something in return. You know, we'll treat it as some sort of diplomacy between our 2 planets. They don't have Mandalore yet. But Jack Black says that Plazir 15 would recognize Mandalore as a sovereign system and petition the New Republic to recognize it as such. So, you know, it's kind of funny that right as these 2 are planning to retake Mandalore, that they have this guy offering them, you know, offering to help them out by recognizing Mandalore as a sovereign planet. You know, it's funny that. But yeah, it's also funny that this society is able to have some sort of pull with the New Republic, but they won't let them have an army. You know, even though they got an army of droids. So that's what we got our side quest. We got our side quest at 14 minutes in. we're really just desperate to waste as much time as possible. But, you know, I was told the previous episode had a story, apparently. So I'm sure people are going to come to that conclusion as well, that there's a story going on here. There's just, you know, we're just procrastinating to actually continue a story. So they go and meet Christopher Lloyd. That goes on for ages. So they've got Christopher Lloyd there. They're trying to find out about the situation. They show on cameras like droids throwing about rubbish and everything, hopping in people's cars and crashing them. You know the droids that have all the knives on their hands. They have one of those that just starts going mental, and they haven't once thought, maybe we better shut these down. They've just let it continue. Because, as Christopher Lloyd puts it, the citizens, so how this, I don't know, they say it's a democracy, nobody works because droids do everything for them. But the droids were reprogrammed to serve the community, and even Bo-Katan, you know, I'm surprised she's smart enough for this, even says, why don't you turn them off? And Christopher Lloyd says, the citizens voted against any interruption in droid services. So, do we think people... So, right, your whole society's stupid then. Everybody that lives in it is stupid. You know, it'd be the same just in our world if we had droids that could kill someone because they are being... their programming is breaking, and there's a potential that it could kill someone, hurt someone, destroy property. And you, as a citizen of that world, wouldn't go, right, well, it's maybe not a good option to have them at the moment then, until this problem is resolved. But no, it's because the citizens are lazy. Don't want to do anything for themselves. As Christopher Lloyd puts it, their whole society could collapse. Your whole society could collapse if these droids all decide to kill you. And you're just like, we don't want the droids to go, even though they could potentially kill us. How does this make any sense? I don't know. So the citizens are fucking idiots. Christopher Lloyd says, they can't live without the droids. The citizens don't work. If we shut them down, they wouldn't know how to survive. They wouldn't know how to survive without droids. Because we can't possibly, you know, the droid that empties the bins. Oh no, I can't survive now. He's been turned off. I can't possibly bring myself to empty the bins on my fucking own. Even though there's so many places that already do that. So the idea that your society would just break down and the citizens wouldn't know how to survive. I guess they have droids feeding them, wiping their asses, just helping them breathe. Clearly, that's clearly what's going on here. So, yeah, their mission is, like, the Mando's mission and, well, Bo-Katan's mission. Mando's not really important anymore. They have to decommission the remaining rogue droids until we fix it. They're not actually going to prevent anything. They're just going to, right, get rid of those. And then, but what if others, you know, go haywire? What if that happens? Oh, well, we can't shut them down because citizens are lazy. So that's what we're doing here. Look, it's Christopher Lloyd, everybody. That means the show's good. So, yeah, that's what they've got to do. But first, of course, as usual, we've got to go down and meet these things first. To figure out what is decommissioned. Hold on a second. So then Mando says, see what happens when you rely on droids. You know, I thought he was over that. I find it funny he says that in this season. He's done a lot of relying on droids. But that was a thing, he was like afraid of droids in season 1. Then straight away it was gone in season 2. And now it just comes back every now and then, even though he's relied on droids in the past. Whatever, Mando. So yeah, they go and talk to it's these things. I don't know what they're called. I don't fucking care. They're just those creatures like that guy that Mando met in season 1. It's just a team of them. They're all shouting and everybody's ignoring them. I don't know why. So then Mando speaks and they sit down and listen. And they're asking them about the malfunctioning droids. Apparently, this race gets offended at them calling them malfunctioning droids, even though that's basically what's happening. So they're a bit furious over that. So you essentially have they're saying they're not, the droids aren't malfunctioning. And then Bo-Katan keeps saying, well, the malfunctioning droids. And then they say, no, they're not malfunctioning. And then she says, oh, well, the malfunctioning droids. And that just goes on for a couple of minutes. So that's what they have. And then they decide to help them and give them the locations of the droids. Even though I don't know if they actually have locations of the droids. It doesn't seem like it because later on in the episode, they don't actually know where the specific droids are. They're just like kind of walking about and they just so happen to come across something that has been reprogrammed. And they come across it in the most funniest way because Mando is a clown person. Absolute clown. So they're going off again. They go down here. They've just got member berries of this droid. And funnily enough, they made me want to go off and see what this droid's life is like. Seems more interesting than anything else that is going on. So what happens is they're looking for the droids, and then Mando, like a clown, he starts kicking the droids, like basically saying, "Oh well, if they're perfectly fine, they won't mind if I do this." He starts kicking them. He starts like just kicking them. What are you doing? So he does that, and then about the third one that comes by, he kicks it. It falls on the floor, and then that's the one we're looking for. So it bashes Mando in the helmet because they seem to think that because you have a helmet on, when you get a full impact like you had in this episode, it does no damage. Although I have to say it must do damage because Mando just gets dumber and dumber. So it's done some type of brain damage to him. So we've now got a chase. You've got the battle droid saying, "You should have left them alone." And I'm just like, can we follow that guy? It seems more interesting. So it's just a chase through the streets. Again, the Mandalorians have done more trouble than good. So it's jumping about, it's throwing things, setting fires and everything. Good work. And then Bo-Katan shows up because it's now her show, and she takes the killing shot, and they have this like little shot here, and it's just like, oh, look how cool Bo-Katan is. So then they I don't know, they fight. There's a droid bar where they go and drink oil, and she's found some, it's essentially matches of sorts. So they go and track down this little bar. All the droids look at them. So it's it's the stuff we've seen in the trailer. I can't think what else happens here. They're just like, Mando starts threatening the barkeep, and then he's like quick to help. Again, the droids are more interesting. They have a lot more going on. As this droid in the background says, well, no, we actually want to help you because us droids have been starting to get worried that all these sort of like robots going haywire may risk us being replaced by humans. So they've actually got more going on than Mando or Bo-Katan. More interesting, more stuff going on in their lives. More stuff they got to worry about. So yeah, they go into the back. I don't know what. So it's just like a droid run bar as well. It's not like humans run it. It's just a droid. It's like his place. Right. Okay, so they find out stuff from him. They go back and look at the droid that they took out. It turns out that the stuff that the droids drink has nanobots in it, and the nanobots have markings on them that tell them where they came from, who they were bought by. So they now know who it is, and it turns out to be Christopher Lloyd. So that droid ends up attacking them because they didn't just turn him off. And then Mando brings out the Darksaber and takes it out. So they've now figured out that it's Christopher Lloyd's character, so they go and visit him. And they're just like, you did it. It was you. You know, what's it, a Scooby-Doo episode? So it turns out he's like a separatist. You know, he brings up Count Dooku. That Count Dooku was a visionary who was cut down by the Jedi's enforcers or some shit. And then we just get really, really shit dialogue because, as I mentioned at the start, it's written in crayon, this show. So you have Christopher Lloyd. He's got like a little red button that he opens up, and he says, if I trigger this failsafe, it will convert the planet's docile workforce back into battle droids and unleash them upon the unsuspecting citizens of Plazir. You could have just ended at, you know, it will convert the planet's docile workforce back into battle droids. You could have just ended there, but it went on and on and on. It's like, the dialogue is utter trash. So, you know, Bo-Katan takes him down because it's her show now. And then we go back to them. They're playing, because we've now caught him. You know, we've done that now. We did that in the least interesting way possible. So they're playing some weird game, you know, whatever, where you throw something through the hoops. They bring this guy before him, and they're like, oh, you know, we found the cause of your malfunctions. It was this guy, whatever his name is. And you, again, more weird dialogue. Jack Black's like, oh, you're despicable. And then Christopher Lloyd says, if that isn't the Quactor calling the Stifling slimy. You know, who thought that was a good line? They're clearly going for, oh, well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? But that actually rolls off the tongue. Whereas when you say, if that isn't the Quactor calling the Stifling slimy, what the fuck? Piss off. Just piss off with that child. Again, was this written by a 2-year-old? Because it comes across that way when I see lines like that. So then, you know, basically the reason why he was doing this, because the planet was unrecognizable when Jack Black became, I guess, the ruler. And then he quickly throws that out the window anyway. So I'm like, you know, because even in the previous scene, he was saying, I never give up. I never gave up to the Empire or the Jedi, or I never gave up. I won't give up to you. And then in this scene, he gives up. So Jack Black's like, I had a feeling you hated me. And then Lizzo, because they gave her more lines, even though she can't act. She says, I'm disappointed in you. You serve my family well. But Captain Bombardier, which is Jack Black's character, is the love of my life. What the fuck's that got to do with anything? And I know his heart is true. He's made mistakes. Who hasn't? So, you know, I guess they're going for, oh, this old man just made a mistake. Well, no, he didn't make a mistake. He knew what he was doing. He did it on purpose. Wouldn't call that a mistake, would I? And then she's like, is there no room for a little bit of forgiveness in a galaxy so vast? Fucking hell. If you're going to have shit dialogue, can you at least have someone that knows how to deliver it? And I'm just like, what is this? What are you going on about? Forgiveness and all that. So, and then the old guy says, oh, I'm sorry to have disappointed you. I thought you never give up. You did all this, you knew what you were doing, and now you're like, oh, I can't handle your disappointment. I'm a changed man because you're disappointed in me. So they exile him to some moon. You know, that's all they do. And then he's like, oh, I hope you can forgive me at some point. You were like, you almost killed people. I don't think you're... What forgiveness? You almost killed a load of people. And you're like, oh yeah, I got to change my ways now, even though a few seconds ago I was like, Count Dooku was a visionary. And now I'm like, I made a mistake. Just out of nowhere. So, I don't know, they get the key to the city or something, and then Grogu what does he get? He gets granted a knighthood of some shit. I don't know what it's about, but he's now a knight of some ancient bullshit. And then they're like, right, we now grant you permission to go and see the Mandalorians, even though we could do that in the first place. I don't know why you made us do this, but that's took up 35 minutes of the episode. We've got another 5 minutes to go, so of course now we're gonna do what we, the whole point was, rather than a side quest. So they go off to see the Mandalorians. They turn up, and then Bo-Katan challenges him to a fight, so she can lead. And it's the most, again, it's the Mandalorians. They fight like fucking tools. So, like, you have one bit where he, like, sprays his flamer. I want to show this, because I'm just like, yeah, that wouldn't work. They, like, fly at each other with their jetpacks and everything. It's, like, it's really awkward. How about just have a fist fight? Just do that, maybe? But I'm trying to see the bit where he flames her, and she brings up her... You know she has that shield that's about that big, and the guy sprays flames at her, and she just goes like that, and that protects her. It's like, no, that shield's way too small. It's going to come over the sides of the fire. But whatever. What would I know about fire, What would anyone know about how fire works? So, yeah, she's beating him, and he's like, you haven't got the Darksaber. You can't lead them, even though I was just leading them, even though I didn't have the Darksaber. So they start taking the piss out of Mando, going, he's a misguided zealot. He possesses the blade. And then they completely fuck the rules up. They wanted to find a loophole, and the loophole isn't there. He's like, oh, I'll give you it. It's actually yours, because if we go back, what was it, episode 2, when she saved him from that weird-looking creature, robot person. And he's like, where did I put it? Yeah, he says, this blade was taken from me. She defeated the enemy who defeated me. And it's like, well, no, he didn't defeat you. I don't know how you can just go, oh, well, this weird alien thing took it off me and threw it on the floor like it was junk. Therefore, it's won the Darksaber. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You actually have to duel the person. That was how they done it in the end of Season 2. Moff Gideon says, oh, you have to challenge him to a duel. Like, that's how it works. Not just, oh, someone took it out my pocket and threw it over there on the floor. Therefore, he is now the ruler of Mandalore. Doesn't work that way. You can't just fucking say, oh, no, it works that way now, because someone took it and threw it on the floor. And then Bo-Katan picked it up, and it worked for reasons, even though I thought, you had to be the holder of it to be able to use it. So, yeah, she's now got the Darksaber, and, yeah, that it doesn't work. Sorry, John, you tried, and you failed. I don't know how they can just go, oh, even if you could do it that way, why would you do it that way? It's like the least interesting way to do it, rather than having, oh, they have a duel to win it over. That's the way it works, and that's the way it should work, because that's the more interesting way. There's so many better options you could choose to go about to get the Darksaber in the hands of Bo-Katan. There's so many better things to do. And they just went with, oh, well, Mando said a creature took it off his pocket and threw it on the floor. Therefore, the creature is now the ruler of Mandalore. And then Bo-Katan came along and picked it up and defeated the thing. So, she didn't. It doesn't work that way. There's no way around it. It does not work that way. But they just, again, no effort put into it. So that's the entire episode. Star Wars is saved, everybody. Lizzo saved it. She turned up and delivered shit lines. Again, just another episode that just makes you want to, I wish Star Wars was a person, because then I could throttle it. Just for the absolute incompetent bullshit weirdness. That's what this episode was. So, what do we think's going to happen next episode? I don't know what we're going to be doing, because I think we're just going to have the same type of episode where we're now right. She's now the ruler of the Mandalorians again, for reasons. So now they're going to retake Mandalore. And we're probably going to get another side quest the next episode. That's probably the way it's going to go in it. We're not doing Moff Gideon. That's probably going to be in season 10 or something like that. Hopefully the show gets fucking cancelled. It's a show that deserves it, unfortunately. That's just what it is. So another terrible episode. It's not the worst. I still think the worst episode so far is probably episode 4. I think that's got the worst stupid shit in it. But this I think comes a close second. The amount of things that just don't make any sense. The New Republic have been backwards this entire season. That stuff with how that society operates makes no sense. It honestly makes no sense. There's so many issues. So many. It just doesn't end with the issues. But that's episode 6. Only 2 to go. 2 to go, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, because this is definitely a lot worse than season 1 and 2. It's just way down, way worse than what they've already done. And again, it's because this season is just we need a season. There wasn't actually thought put into it or planning. It was just Lucasfilm or Disney, whoever it is, saying, right, we need people for our streaming service, so you got to do something. That's what it feels like. It just feels like they've just been told to do it. They're not doing it out of any passion. They're just doing it because they got to. And it's really noticeable. So that's what you've been dealing with this season. But hey, apparently, I imagine someone's going to turn up and say, oh, this was a story. And it had great action. Right, okay. That's always the response from the old Mando fans. But that's episode 6, so I guess I'll see you on the next one.